Hi everyone. Last session we discussed something about an introduction to the cloud computing. So I'll just quickly give an overview about what we discussed last class and what exactly you people have to understand about cloud computing. So I just given an example like if I want to create a network. So for example, let us take this is my home network, and this home network consists of 10 different PCs, and I just want to buy a PC and a networking components and the software for all the 10 PCs. So I just want to pay a money for each software's components and everything, and also for maintaining the database, right, for storing this information. So instead of spending a money for each and everything that services like software for getting the networking and for installing the operating system and for buying the storage for storing the data, instead of spending the money for this kind of work. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm just going to send a request to the cloud service provider, one who is going to provide the services to the various end users. So I'll be sending the request like whatever the things that I need. I'll be sending that request to the service provider. It might be any type of services like a platform, or it might be an infrastructure, or it might be a software, or it might be a storage, right? So I'll be sending any type of request to the service provider, and the cloud service provider will provide the services to my home network. And once after completing types of services, so what exactly does this? So the cloud service provider at the end of the utilization of the home of myself. So I'll be disconnecting. I'll be terminating this all the services. So what are the services that was utilized by me via this service provider? And this service provider will generate a bill, and that bill will be sent to me, and I'll be paying only for that generated bill, which means pay, we call it as pay as you go. So this is the slogan where we can say it for a cloud computing. So the only thing is, so the amount of utilization, the amount whatever you're utilizing it, so you're going to pay only for that utilization, so nothing else extra you're going to pay. So just think about, I just last class I told you about. So monthly, I have to spend around 50,000 rupees for maintaining my database and for maintaining the networking and for the employees that who's working on my organization. I have to spend around 50K for that. I'm just giving a simple example. Think about here. So I'll be spending only 2,000 if I go with the cloud service providers, not 50K. Just think about that. The major is around 40,000 I can save if I go with the cloud service, because I don't want to go for any capitation cost. I don't want to go for maintaining, buying the software. I don't want to renew the software, and I don't want to install any operating system. I don't want to go for maintaining the data center. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about the employability. So nothing I'm going to do. So everything will be taken care by the cloud service provider, right? So the only thing is I'll be sending the request to the service provider, and service provider will send the response for the particular request, and I'll be placing the a request which was sent to the cloud service provider, and I'll be paying only for that. So that is what the cloud service provider, we call it as pay as you go model. So normally, what a cloud does, the benefit of cloud is, so as I told you, like we can able to access all type of services with a less cost, right? And no capitation or investment, right? No investment, and then highly scalable. So if what are the, I'm just telling about the benefits of cloud computing. Highly scalable. Highly scalable in the sense is, if I'm using uh, I'm just trying to use the database from the, this is something we call it as a cloud service provider, and we call it as a cloud consumer. So this is a cloud consumer sending the request, and currently the cloud consumer using a 40 GB of space from the service provider, and suddenly the number of customers gets increased with the cloud consumer. So he want to increase his database. So if it is something which was maintained by ourselves, so definitely we have to go to the shop, and we have to buy the product, and we have to install that product, and we have to configure that one. So instead of that, we can send the additional request to the cloud service provider, to extend this 40 to 80 GB, and that is possible. So that is something we call it as a scalable. I hope you got it right. So that is something you want to do anything if you want to perform any kind of services, any kind of events. You want to expand your network, or you want to do a lot of services. As simple, I just give you the real-time example. What exactly and how real-time it works the cloud computing. So you people know about Amazon website, right? So normally what we do is, so we will go to the Google Chrome and we'll type www.amazon.in, right? So once you type in this Amazon, you'll be getting the home pages, right? So normally what Amazon will do, Amazon will provide a service to the global users. So we don't have a clue how many users, how many people will be accessing the Amazon server at a time, right? So you know about that, right? So let me take 1 million people normal days. 1 million people will access this Amazon.in server. So, but think about that. Usually, at the every month they'll be going for a prime sale, right? So you know about the prime sale. So what it means? So they'll be giving a lot of offers, and they'll be selling the products, right? So by that during that prime sale, so it's going to happen only for 3 to 4 days in a month, right? So only for this 3 to 4 days, this instead of 1 million customer, it's going to increase with multiples of 10 million. So just think about that. First 1 to 25 days, only 1 million people are going to utilize the Amazon server. And only for this 3 to 4 days, the number of customers going to keep on increase, right? So to do the business for Amazon. But think about that. If the Amazon is going to elaborate its network for this 10 million people, obviously they are going to waste their resources for the first 25 days. So what they do is, so they will be maintaining the network, and they'll be creating their structure, their data center only for the 1 million support customer. So what they do, if the 10 million people are going to hit the Amazon website, so by the time what Amazon does is, Amazon will send a request. Amazon now it's going to act like a consumer, cloud consumer, and he's going to send a network to the cloud service provider for only for those 4 days and get the services. And this 10 million, another 9 million people will get a service from this service provider. So which means Amazon is going to do a business for this 10 million people only for 4 days, and is going to pay only the rent for this service provider only for those 4 days. Just think about that, how much cost that they are going to uh, save. So this is what the major benefit of. So that's why I just told you about the highly scalable and the fault tolerance in the sense. So we don't want to worry about anything to maintain the data center if data is getting crashed. So example, if you are having information on a Gmail account, so Google will maintain your data, right? So if your data is getting crashed, you can able to access your data anywhere, anytime, at any place, irrespective of the places, any devices, right? So, but the thing is, if the data get crashed, so Google will take responsibility to maintain your data and the replication of your data. I hope you know about the right concept. So they might be using some technology for the replications of your data, and they might be storing your informations in a multiple places across the globe in a different data center. So that if one data center gets failed, the Google will retrieve your data from another data center, and the response will be on your screen. So anytime you can able to access your data without any error, right? So that is what the magic of cloud. So if just think about that, if you are having a PC with a 500 GB of hard disk, and if you are going to store all the data on your computer, at some point of time your computer may get crashed, right? So just because of natural disaster, or just because of some virus, or some threats happen on your computer, some attackers may attack your computer through the network, so your data may get lost. So where you will go for recovery? So nothing can be done, right? So because you have only one storage area, and you'll be storing that data only on that storage, and if something happens, the natural disaster or crashes occurs on your computer, the entire data will get lost, and we can't be able to recover the data. Just think about that. If you are going to store the data through the cloud service provider, you can able to access. The other thing is, you will be paying only for the utilization. You will pay only for the amount of utilization that you're going to use on that particular services. Clear? So as just like what Amazon does for those 3 to 4 days, he'll be getting the service from the outside cloud service provider, and you'll be paying only for that money. And coming to the point, so this is the point that we discussed last class, and this is something where you can see a cloud is getting connected with the laptop servers, desktop, tablets, phones, and this is something we call it as the types of services like an application as a software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a services. So a lot of services will be provided by the cloud service provider, and some uh, cloud service providers are Rackspace, Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Server, and then IBM Cloud, and then a Google Cloud Platform. So you have all the legends of ITs. So Microsoft, they are using Azure, and Amazon, they are using Amazon Web Services, and then IBM EC2, they're using as a cloud VMware providing cloud service providers, and Rackspace, Joinit, and then Google is also providing cloud service provider. But so these are all the major cloud service provider who's going to provide a service to the various end users. So what is the advantage of cloud computing? As I just told you, huge reduction of cost because there is no capital cost that you're going to invest for constructing the network or buying the hardware or software. And then speed, obviously, so you can able to access the data or resources anytime within a fraction of seconds. So that is within a few clicks I can able to go with my Google account, I can able to access my data inside the Google account, right? So that is something, a speed of the resource accessibility. And then, as I told you, the scalability is the biggest advantage in a cloud computing. We can increase or decreasing the requirements according to the business requirements. And next one is about the productivity. While using the cloud computing, we put a less operational effort. We do need not need to apply a patching, as well as no need to maintain a hardware or software. So we don't want to spend our time for maintaining the hardware, software, purchasing of the software, renewal of the license of the software. We don't work anything. So we can focus only to our business. So only that is going to done. So which makes more productivity, and then reliability. So backups and recovery will be done automatically. So we don't worry about that. And then the most important feature is security. Since you are going for a cloud services with an external cloud service provider, you need not worry about the security features because they have a separate team for maintaining for maintaining the data center, and the security was provided to that data center is very high. So while you come across with the service level agreement with those cloud service provider, so you can come to know about what types of securities that they are providing for maintaining your data. So that is what the point. So you have a more security. So these are all some advantages of the cloud computing. And when you speak about the types of cloud computing, you do have three types majorly. One is a public, and second one is a private, and third one is a hybrid. So these are all the three major types of cloud computing. So we will be in upcoming topics we'll be discussing more about these types of cloud computing. So here people have to know what exactly the basics of the cloud computing. So we will discuss this topic in upcoming sessions about the types of cloud computing. And the types of services, what type of services does the cloud service provider is providing in the census? As I told you, like SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So which means like software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a services. So software in the sense, so a lot of softwares like Google Apps, Microsoft Office 365 degrees, Cisco WebEx, and then Salesforce, and then so you have come across a lot of softwares, right? So those are some software that even we people are using certain softwares, right? So even whatever the tool that I'm using for this presentation is Zoom. So this is also one software that I'm using through the cloud. So I'll be paying only for the duration that I'm going to use it for this presentation. So that's the type of services which was given by the cloud through a software as a services, and then platform as a services. So again, for running, for deploying the applications, for if I'm just developing some applications, I just want to deploy somewhere else. So I can go for a platform as a services, and I can get the services from the from the cloud service provider like Google, Apple, Microsoft Azure, etc. Right? Infrastructure, some computing facilities. So I want to create a data centers. I want to store the data, and I want to maintain some infrastructure. I want to create some networks. So that can be done by using IaaS. So that type of services can also get from the service providers, cloud service providers. And we'll just go with an evolution of cloud computing. So normally the evolution of cloud computing is something what how the cloud enter into the market, and what are the previous technologies which was used before the cloud comes, and what are the disadvantage which was in that existing technology. So those are all the topics that we'll be discussing under evolution of cloud computing, and this topic we'll be discussing in the next session. I hope you understood what exactly the cloud is all about, and what type of services does the cloud provides, right? So just post your comment in the comment section if you have any questions or queries. Thank you.